Adam Taxin with Rabbi Moshe Levin of Chabad of downtown Los Angeles East, and in Beverly Hills, Pico Robertson area. It's Beis Betzalel, which is a more family-oriented congregation. Nice article, by the way, in the Jewish Journal that came out yesterday.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And, we want to talk a little bit about July 4th, which is on Shabbos this year, which doesn't happen that often, and, whether related to the Parsha or other thoughts you may have related to July 4th. Thanks for being with me.
Adam, do you remember an event that happened in Entebbe on July 4th?
Well, I don't remember it because I was not even 5 years old yet. However, being from the Philadelphia area, there's a big memorial to it right on in front of Congregation Mikveh Israel there, so you can't really miss it. And I've seen the movies, etc., about it. And and July 4th was a particularly big deal in Philadelphia that year.
Okay, so I'm going to tell everyone listening quickly what happened on July 4th, 1976. There were many Israeli hostages which were held in Entebbe, and Bibi Netanyahu's brother, Yoni Netanyahu, was the team leader of a plan to rescue these hostages. And what they did was they brought a plane, which was never done before. They brought a plane to under 100 feet in the air at times in order that radar should not detect them. And they managed to go all the way into Africa and to conquer the terrorist enclave over there and to free the hostages and bring them back to Israel. And this was such a tremendous miracle that the whole world was talking about at the time. I find this event to be very significant when I think about the other event that happened on July 4th, Independence Day.
Of course.
I actually think that we should rename July 4th to be Dependence Day, and I'll tell you why.
You sound a little bit like what Rabbi Rubenfeld did on another video I just made, but yeah. Okay, go on.
The team leader of this mission, Yoni Netanyahu, he said that failure is not an option. What brought him to have this idea to do the impossible was his conviction that there must be a way to save these people. It's impossible that we're going to turn our back and we're just going to forget about these people. He had this vision, he had this dream, he had something burning inside of him. This failure is not an option. We're going to save these people. And I think that that's something that our founding fathers had in common with him in their desire for peace, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that they felt that there must be a way to have a better life, and God would help them do that. And that's why I think it should be called Dependence Day, because it was their dependence on God that opened their minds and opened their souls to have this vision of America which we live in today. So it's actually the dependence on God which makes us independent. It sounds like a paradox, but what I mean is, when you depend on God and you believe in God and you lean on God, then your mind opens, your heart opens, and you're able to figure out things that you wouldn't figure out ordinarily. This year, because July 4th falls out on Shabbat, I think a great way for people to celebrate is not to light fireworks. We don't light fireworks on Shabbat. Instead, how about before Shabbat, light Shabbos candles, light the candles of Shabbat, and think about how dependent we are on God and how God empowers us to become independent.
Can I just pick your brain on one other thing? We talk about, obviously, you can see the role of God and faith in achieving the impossible on the Entebbe raid, which, of course, was, I can't emphasize how strange this is, on the 200th anniversary of the founding of America, which was founded by people who were very, godly people, or at least recognized the importance of God, which is the craziest thing on a July 4th, other than July 4th, 1826, when both John Adams and Thomas Jefferson died the same day on the 50th anniversary. But I digress. But just a little bit about the Parsha Balak in Numbers that we read this week. And there's a lot about, God can do whatever he wants if he wills it, and that is relevant to the way Bilam, I'm sorry, tried to curse the Jewish people, and instead God made them blessings. And I just wonder if you can tie that in a little bit. If not, if you weren't prepared to talk about that, fine. But do you see what I'm getting at there? You're just better at doing it than I am.
Thank you, Adam. Very, very quickly, Bilam wanted to curse the Jewish people. The Torah says that God transformed the curses themselves into blessings. The Baal Shem Tov once said that the Hebrew word for Sarah, which means pain, has the same letters as the word Sohar, which means light, and the same letters as the word Haratz, which means to run. The Baal Shem Tov said, when God sends a person Sarah, trouble, when you run to do something positive, you put your heart into something positive, into a mitzvah, into one of God's commandments, then the problem itself is transformed into light. I think what happened on July 4th is exactly the same idea. Had there not been this issue, had it not been the problem that brought about the War of Independence, we would not be here today. It's the problem itself that creates the light at the end of the tunnel. It does take a lot of running. It does take a lot of passion to get there. And while you're in that problem, while you're in experiencing the darkness, you can't see outside. But when God sends someone a problem, God's a loving Father. He only sends us problems because He knows that we have the ability to transform the problem itself into light, especially by saying words of Psalms with pure faith. As Baal Shem Tov said, that when you say words of Torah, say words of prayer, it's put light into those words. And when you pray with feeling, and you put your heart into your prayers, you transform the problems themselves into light.
All right, Rabbi, happy 4th of July, and good Shabbos.
Thank you so much, Adam. Have a good Shabbos, and only good news for you.